Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and good afternoon again, fellow town meeting members. After much discussion, the Finance Committee voted to recommend adoption of Article 37 as amended to appropriate an additional $1.4 million to assist in the completion of the public safety buildings construction project. The $1.4 million will come from borrowing, which is consistent with our practice for large capital projects such as this, and is what we did for the $70 million, which was previously approved and borrowed for this project. The Finance Committee has been following this matter since late last summer, when the PPBC first raised the issue of the pressures on the contingency funds that it was holding for the project. Those pressures were primarily from the costs incurred due to unanticipated contaminated soils discovered at Fire Station Number 2 in Needham Heights, as well as the extra cost of the project for having to perform construction during COVID-19. Rather than guess what the extra funds might be needed with the project still 1.5 years from completion at that time, we asked the PPBC to monitor all change orders carefully and to come back this spring with a more certain number for exactly what additional funds may be needed to complete the project. That has occurred, and the Finance Committee had several robust discussions with the PPBC and the Select Board on exactly what is needed. These discussions were necessary because every dollar that is spent on this project is one less dollar that will be available for future capital projects that are on the town's horizon. You have heard from the proponents of this article about the category of items that make up the required additional funding. The Finance Committee pushed back on several of these items, including funds necessary to be spent on Hillside School after the police and fire departments vacate that building and site, as well as a monthly, quote, burn rate, end quote, on change orders. The Finance Committee would like to make sure that whatever work occurs at Hillside be done in a way that will best coordinate with future users of the Hillside building and site. Further, the Finance Committee felt that at this stage of the project, with all of the plans and drawings sufficiently examined, and with the overall project completion near, the need for additional change orders should be minimal. As a result of our discussions, the PPBC reduced its initial request by $300,000 from $1.7 million to $1.4 million. While the Finance Committee felt that that amount could be reduced even further, we accepted the position that in this instance, it might be better to err on the side of having more funds available in case there are any last-minute emergencies. In addition, the PPBC stated that they will make every effort to spend as little of the additional authorized funds as possible, which would allow the town to borrow less and would free up debt capacity for the town to use for other future projects. The Finance Committee looks forward to that happening. In conclusion, the Finance Committee believes that the borrowing of an additional $1.4 million in order to complete the public safety buildings construction project is a necessary use of the town's funds. And so we recommend that Article 37 be in the amended amount of $1.4 million be adopted by this special town meeting. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.